Okay, the session is now being recorded. I will now share the file. Nasaan na ba yan? Okay, ipakita ko na yung control mismo, ano. Ayan. Para diretso nyo na makita yung mga sagot. I hope you were able to answer at least ano no, majority if not all of these problems. I prepared this summary. Actually, itong visual aid na ito, this was generated by Google Gemini. In the past, no, ang nagiging emphasis pagdating doon sa business model, doon sa classification ng investment in securities, no, investment in securities siya, not only doon sa debt securities but also for equity securities. Ang pinaka nagiging emphasis ay yung business model assessment. Pero if we are to look at the standard, two parts yung ating ano no test to determine what is the classification of our investment. Okay? So, if you can see dito sa ating ano no visual sa ating diagram dito, the first step is yung SPPI test. Ang cash flows ba, the contractual cash flows. Ano po ba yan? Solely for the payment of principal and interest. Kaya siya naging SPPI, no? If pass, titignan po natin ano ba yung parang purpose, bakit ka bibili ng investments, bakit ka mag-acquire. Okay? Is that para panghawakan mo siya? Hold to collect, okay? Or hold to collect and then kung merong opportunity to sell kasi magbe-benefit tayo doon sa increase in the fair value. Pag binenta natin, no, kikita tayo doon. Eh di hold to collect and sell. Or kaya naman, kung wala po dito sa dalawa, yung for trading purposes. Yun yung tinag dito ng AI na others, no? So held for trading. Okay? Actually, class, no? Etong mga terminologies na ito ay medyo associated siya sa US GAAP. When you encounter problems pagdating sa investments at nakikita nyo po yung mga held to collect, held to ano, collect and sell. At saka meron pa ano no, may encounter kayo yung held to maturity investments. US GAAP term applies, no? Ito yung ginagamit nila. Pero under IFRS 9, ito po yung ating classification. Kaya meron tayo ditong quote-unquote, if the business model assessment is hahawakan mo yung investment para syempre kumolekta ka ng principal pag nag-due na, depende doon sa terms of the investment, no? And to generate income by way of interest, no? Kasi nagpautang ka. So, the investment in debt securities, we are usually talking about investment in bonds dito. Okay? Sinasabi po natin na yung investment in bonds ay measured at amortized cost, AC. Okay? Ito yung held to maturity investment. No? Bumili ka or nag-invest ka ng bonds, tapos kung 10 years yung maturity niyan, i-hold mo lang siya until maturity. Kaya nga yung term na HTM investment or held to maturity investment. So in that no, nag-amortize tayo, we prepare an amortization table. Okay? And that is your default category. If the purpose is for trading, okay? O yun yung investment in debt securities measured at FVPL, fair value through profit or loss. O kaya naman, no, like lalong-lalo na pagdating sa libro ni Implayon Robles, kung ito po yung ating business model number 1, okay? Tapos ito yung business model number 2, etong nasa gitna, ito yung combination ng dalawang ito, amortized cost plus FVPL, FVOCI. Ito yung medyo madugo-dugo sa mga problems, no? Kasi nag-a-amortize ka na, pero i-a-adjust mo ang fair value. Kung ano yung updated na market rate, no, at the end of that period na kino-cover natin. So meron tayong ano, no, treatment ng changes sa fair value na tini-take up natin sa sa other comprehensive income, thus FVOCI. Pero ang medyo na fail to emphasize is that when you fail the SPPI test, matik po FVPL yung ating classification nun. Regardless kung ano yung business model mo. So if ano no, it is not for the solely for payment of principal and interest o FBPL na yung investment yan. Kahit na anong business model. Kung sinabi mo na held to maturity yan pero it fails the SPPI test, ignore yung amortized, no? Doon ka FVPL investment ka. Okay? Now, sa ating investment in debt securities, no? Meron tayo ng irrevocable designation. So if you remember sa inyong intermediate accounting, no, the fair value option, ito yung irrevocable designation to eliminate accounting mismatch kahit na yung business model mo ay to hold to mature held to maturity or hold to collect o kaya itong hold to collect and sell. Okay, if you designate it at FVPL to eliminate or significantly reduce accounting mismatch or yung mga accounting inconsistencies, then you can measure the asset, no, the financial asset at fair value through profit or loss. At dahil irrevocable ang designation, anong ibig nang sabihin? Wala nang bawian. Hindi na po natin pwedeng i-reclassify. Okay? So, yun po, no, yung parang pinaka-summary natin ng investment in debt securities. Now, meron din dito, no, na mention about investment in equity securities. Eto, dalawa lang naman yan. Wala tayong amortized cost. Pero in terms of the problem solving, let's deal with this sa susunod na linggo, no? So dito, pinag-uusapan lang natin fair value. Taken to P&L ba or taken to other comprehensive income? So yung decision natin dito, kumbaga kung ito yung decision tree, held for trading ba yung investment in equity securities mo? If yes, edi FVPL. If no, hindi po yun matik na FBOCI. Kasi by default, lahat ng ating investment in equity securities, no, ay FVPL. Kung hindi mo siya dinesignate at FVOCI, kahit na hindi po yan held for trading, the asset still becomes an FVPL investment. So kung hindi siya for trading, you have to designate it. Kailangan mong i-apply yung irrevocable designation so that you can elect, no, to classify the investment at fair value through other comprehensive income at initial recognition. Okay? Now, pinagkaiba lang nitong dalawa, no, dito sa mga FVOCI kasi dito sa debt securities meron tayong recycling, no? Yung recycling ng nasa OCI papuntang P&L kapag dinispose na natin yung asset. Pero pagdating sa investment in equity securities, wala po tayong recycling. Wala tayong ano no, paglilipat from OCI to P&L category. Okay? Pero please take note, no. Anyway, magbibigay pa naman ako dito ng mga illustrative problems, no, by next meeting. So, hindi porket FBOCI, lahat ay papuntang OCI. Meron pa rin naman tayong dinadala sa P&L. For example, yung ating ano no, dividend income. Okay? But anyway, we'll talk about this again pagdating ng next week. Okay? Now, meron tayong summary cheat sheet dito, ano? para doon sa 4 na category. Amortized cost, where debt instruments lang po ito or debt securities. FVOCI, debt instrument, equity instrument, no? And then yung FVPL, both for debt and equity securities. Now, sometimes sa mga problems, no, may nami-mention about transaction costs. Kung sakaling in-exclusive siya, binukod siya sa information, titignan natin kung ano yung classification, ano yung business model. Kasi yung transaction cost, ini-expense natin kapag FVPL yung investment, no? Pero for FVOCI or amortized cost, it is capitalized. Isinasama po natin yon. Okay? Now, pagdating po, class, no, sa mga subsequent measurement, syempre, amortized cost, it is amortized, applying the EIR or the effective interest rate. And we subject it to impairment, no? Applying the expected credit losses of IFRS 9. Okay? Yung FVOCI mo, ayan, kapag debt instrument, measured natin at fair value, lagi. So, kahit nag-amortize ka, pero hindi yan tugma doon sa fair value, i-adjust natin. Kaya dito class, no, sa FVOCI, lalong-lalo na pagdating sa debt instruments, gumagamit po tayo ng fair value adjustment account. At yung fair value adjustment account na yun po yung temporary na account para yung ating investment in debt ay based doon sa amortized cost. Pero dagdag bawas nitong fair value adjustment account, it will now become a fair value measurement. Okay? Pagdating sa FVOCI, mas madali lamang siya. Okay, kasi wala naman tayong amortized cost, no? So changes in fair value lang tapos taken to OCI instead of P&L. But for dividend, that will be taken to P&L. Ang kagandahan, no, dito sa FVOCI, wala po tayong impairment assessment. So hindi po tayo nag-impairment loss. Pero for amortized cost at saka yung FVOCI na debt securities, yes, we do that. Okay? For FVPL, hindi na rin natin kailangan mag-impairment because the fair value is deemed to be, ayan, yung fair value. So lahat ng, parang na ano na siya, na-incorporate na doon sa mga changes in fair value, yung mga impairment assessment. So lahat ay taken to profit or loss. Okay? Sige. So, pagdating naman class sa reclassification, ang FVOCI na equity instrument prohibited po, no? Pero general rule for investments, no, in securities generally. So ang general rule natin, we can do reclassification provided na meron tayong change in business model. Hindi po yung change sa intention. Okay, dapat may change tayo ng business model. And we do apply it prospectively. Okay? Yung reclassification, that is only permitted sa debt instruments, hindi po ito nag-a-apply sa equity instruments. Prohibited po ang reclassification pagdating sa equity. Bakit? Kasi default FVPL, tapos para maging FVOCI yan, kailangan mong designate irrevocably. So wala tayo talagang doon, bawian. Okay? Kasi at the initial recognition, kailangan mong mag-decide ano ba talaga. At kung ano yon, yun na talaga yon. Okay? So, ayun po, for reclassification. Pagdating sa derecognition, ayan, makikita nyo po dito, pag amortized cost, syempre, P&L, the same with FVPL, P&L. Pag FVOCI, pag debt instrument, cumulative OCI, recycled to P&L. Ta-transfer natin. Pero pag FVOCI, within equity lamang yung reclassification. So, from yung kung ano man yung yung OCI na yun, lipat lang natin sa retained earnings. Okay? So that basically sums up your investment in fair value. Okay? Debt and equity. Okay, plus yung amortized cost syempre pagdating doon sa debt instruments. Wala pa po dito sa cheat sheet yung investment in associates and joint venture kasi that is applied that is applied by using a different model or method which is equity method. So etong makikita po ninyo dito na equity investments ay applying only fair value valuation. Fair value method. So equity method ay investment in associates and joint venture. Pero pag-usapan naman lang po natin ito sa susunod. Okay? Now, pakita na po natin. Okay? So eto na summary. Paki-check na lamang po. Actually, na ano ko naman na ito by way of this visual aid na discuss ko na po ito. So ito lang ay inano natin naka word for word. Okay? So proceed na po tayo doon sa mga MCQ. Theories muna tayo. So beginning, ayan, makikita nyo na po, no? I hope tama yung mga sagot po ninyo, no? In case merong tanong, let me know so that we can check on it. Okay? Baka mamaya, mali pala yung na-shade or meron akong na-overlook. So let me know in case meron kayong comments, no? Alright. So for the first question, under IFRS 9 daw, the classification of a financial asset na debt instrument is determined by a combination of two tests. Ano daw yung two tests na yon? So, SPPI test. No? Tapos, business model. Nagkataon lang dito sa letter B, na una yung business model, pangalawa yung contractual cash flow characteristic. So, letter B po ang tamang sagot. Okay? It's not the intention to hold the asset as short or long term, no? At saka yung fair value option. Now, speaking of short-term, long-term category, yung amortized cost, no, normally, that is a non-current asset. Investment in debt instruments, FVPL, ayan, usually that is a short-term investment, short-term current asset. Tapos yung FVOCI, kadalasan po, no, yan din po ay non-current asset. Okay? Yung letter C mali because ang mini-mention dito yung size ng investment and the level of credit risk. And letter D, the classification under the former IAS 39, yung held to maturity, and the effective interest rate. Kung nabasa nyo naman, naaral nyo naman yung IFRS 9, ito naman ay mga obvious na wala dapat sa pagpipilian ninyo. No? So, the answer is obviously letter D. Okay, so yan po for question number 1. Question number 2, alin daw po dito ang hindi? Not an objective of a business model. Ito, hold to collect. Okay, ito yung held to maturity. Ito yung amortized cost. Yung pangalawa, collect contractual cash flow and sell financial asset. Ito yung ating FVOCI. Itong pangatlo naman ay FVPL. Okay? So, hindi po default, no, na FVPL tayo kasi meron tayong SPPI test. Kung nag-fail tayo doon sa SPPI test, edi saka lamang tayo mag-FVPL. Pero if that pass, no, if the SPPI test pass, edi titignan pa natin yung business model. So wala po tayong default classification. Kaya po, letter D ang answer po dito sa number 2. Okay? Ayan po. No? Next, number 3 naman tayo. Debt investment daw passes the SPPI test, is held within a business model whose objective is to collect contractual cash flow. O, edi that is your amortized cost investment. Okay? So, eto, madali lang naman po yung question number 3. Number 4. Ano naman po yung ating number 4? Ano bang tinatanong? Pero makikita nyo po dito yung sagot ay letter C, no? The FVOCI measurement category for a debt instrument is applicable only if the asset meets which of the following criteria. So una natin titignan, pasado ba tayo sa SPPI test? Kasi pag fail yan, pag palyado yan, matik FVPL. Wala na tayong pag-uusapan kahit na iba yung business model, pero nag-fail ka sa SPPI test, automatic FVPL ka na. Etong letter A, yes, pasado sa SPPI, pero yung business model is to sell the asset to realize its fair value, o edi FVPL investment yan. Okay? Etong isa naman, meron kasing hold to collect and sell the asset. O yan yung combo. Combo 1 and 2. Right? So this is more appropriate. Okay? Ito kasing irrevocable designation, FVPL. Okay? Sorry. Ito kasi ay equity, no? Equity in instrument for which the FVOCI option was irrevocably elected. Equity instrument yan. Ang tinatanong po kasi dito ay debt instrument. So, while yes, mayroon tayong irrevocable designation pagdating sa equity instrument, kaso equity yan. Yung tinatanong for a debt instrument. So, ingat po tayo dito, no? Tama naman yung D, kung equity instrument. Okay? So, yan class, no? Yung question number 4. Proceed po tayo sa number 5. Ano naman ang minimension sa number 5? Ano daw yung classification ng isang debt security na nag-fail ng SPPI test and held under a business model, neither collect contractual cash flow nor collect and sell. Parang ito yung ano, no? Others. Okay? So, ito class ay FVPL. Automatic kapag nag-fail ka na ng SPPI test, didiretso ka na FVPL. Okay? So, kaya nga ano, mahalaga yung ating ano, test, yung two-way test na yon. Alright. Dito naman tayo sa question number 6. Kapag yung entity daw may hawak-hawak na debt securities, hold to collect and sell, o kaya nga, dito ha, sinadya ko po yan na yung mga terms ay hindi obvious kasi ano ba yung term natin, no? Na hold to collect and sell. FBOC ayan eh. Okay? So, kaya naglagay tayo ng quote-unquote, hold to collect and sell business model where the unrealized gains and losses, where are the unrealized gains and losses recognized? So, sagot natin in OCI. Okay? Pero, yung letter D kasi, OCI din ito. Anong pinagkaiba nila? Dahil debt instruments po ito, meron tayong inaalaw na recycling. Kasi pag equity instrument, nakalock lang po sa OCI, equity to equity lang yan. Wala po tayong recycling. Okay? So, number 6, letter B, boy. Alright? So, continue po tayo. Number 7, pag amortized cost investment mo daw, ano yung basis ng computation ng interest income? Effective interest rate. Okay? So, letter C. Ito, dapat, no? Tama tayo dito. Basic question, simple question ito. Number 8. Okay. So, actually, etong mga ito naman ay ano madadaling mga tanong naman ito. Ang intention nito is to check on your stock knowledge. Okay? Just to check. So, wala pa masyado itong mga complications, no? Kahit itong theory na ito, medyo straightforward to recall. Okay? So, question number 8. Meron kang portfolio ng instruments, debt securities. Hold to collect ang business model. So, amortized cost investment. And, syempre, pasado yung SPPI. Now, the company wishes to measure this portfolio at FVPL to reduce accounting mismatch o ito yung irrevocable designation pagdating sa debt securities. Is it permitted? Yes. Paano? Gamit yung fair value option, yung irrevocable designation, na dahil irrevocable, wala nang bawian. Touch move. Okay? So yan po, no, for question number 8. Question number 9 tayo. Ay, may explanation. Ito kasi yung application ng SPPI test at saka business model. Kung nag-fail ka doon sa SPPI test, pero yung business model mo ay hold to collect, amortized cost ito supposedly. Kaso dahil nag-fail ka na sa SPPI test, hindi mo pwedeng i-measure at amortized cost. Doon ka FVPL. So kung meron kang transaction cost, hindi mo pwedeng i-capitalize. Expense immediately po ito. Okay? So, kaya meron ako ditong explanation, kasi baka lang magtaka kayo. Sir, bakit expense? Held to maturity, amortized cost yung business model. So, while yes, that's the business model, but since it fails the SPPI test, P&L, FVPL yung natin, measurement. Okay? So, that's for question number 9. Question number 10. Which IFRS 9 model results in highest frequency and volume of sales? Alin dito yung mataas yung attrition? Mabilis gumalaw. Di yung mga naka-FVPL investment. Kasi trading securities po yung mga yan. Held to collect, held to maturity, parehas lang yan. Okay? Tapos, sandali. Samit tayo. Etong hold to collect and sell, ito yung FVOCI investment. Okay? So, FVPL po tayo dito. Okay. Sandali lang, class. Nangangati yung lalamunan ko. Wait lang saglit. Okay, resume tayo, class. Pasensya na po sa patalastas, no? Pag-usapan po natin yung number 11. Okay. So, at initial recognition daw, debt financial asset, debt instrument ito should be measured, okay, at fair value plus transaction cost. Maliban na lamang kung FVPL yung classification. Mali po ay yung plus or minus. Kasi pag financial asset plus, yung minus, financial liabilities yan. Okay, so fair value less transaction cost. Financial liability. Financial asset ito, dapat plus. Mali rin po yung fair value only kasi that will only apply to FVPL. Cost adjusted for any premium or discount, mali po, no? While that will be the case for amortized cost, but by the presence of the transaction cost, it will change your effective interest rate, therefore, providing a recomputed premium or discount. Okay? So, yan po, no? Number 12, under IFRS 9, ano daw yung changes, no? Saan natin nire-recognize yung changes in fair value? Okay? So, dito, while obvious naman yung sagot natin dito, Pag FVOCI, nasa OCI, pero gusto lang nating i-emphasize na yung ating ano no, impairment, it will be taken to profit or loss. Okay? So, fair value changes po ito, klasa. Fair value changes. Iba ang kadalasan, medyo nalilito, yung iba, yung changes in fair value ay yun din yung interest income. Hindi po. Dahil FVOCI yan, ano, yung portion ng nag-amortize tayo, di ba? So, yung interest income taken to P&L yan. Okay? Pero yung changes sa fair value, yung ano mo, mati-take up sa fair value adjustment. Kung magkano, kunwari yung amortized cost mo ay 3.6 and then your fair value ay 3.7. Yung 100,000, that is your changes in fair value. Yun lang yung OCI. Pero yung related computation ng interest income, tapos kung mayroon tayong impairment assessment, may impairment loss, P&L pa rin yan. Kahit na FVOCI. Yung OCI, sa title niya lang, no, fair value lang, yung tinitake up sa OCI. Okay? FX, foreign exchange, no? So, usually naman, hindi natin tinitake up yung mga forex pagdating sa intermediate accounting. No? Nandoon siya sa AFAR. Okay? Pero taken to P&L siya. So, that's for question number 12. Moving on po tayo. Dinamihan ko na po ito, ano, para nakadamay na hindi ko maalala. Damay na rin yata yung equity investment dito. Pero I'll try to prepare pa rin next meeting, no, some questions na MCQ. Tignan natin. Kung wala naman na, kung nahagip na naman na dito, the problems na lamang for next meeting. Okay? For number 13, alin daw dito yung totoo about the subsequent measurement ng FVPL assets? Lahat ng changes ng fair value ay taken to P&L. Whether realized or unrealized. Nandito, no, sa explanation. Naglagay po tayo dito. Okay, bakit? Kasi pag FVOC ay debt instrument yan, pag unrealized, ano yan? FVOCI, OCI siya. Pero pag na-realize na, dinispose mo na yung asset, may recycling tayo na ginagawa. Okay, pero, eto, no? Pag FVPL, whether realized or unrealized, P&L yan parehas. Okay? Number 14, subsequent recognition, measurement. So, pag ang financial asset mo measured at amortized cost, yung subsequent measure, okay, medyo similar yata ito sa question kanina, pero iba lang yung pagkaka-phrase. Ginagamit natin yung effective interest rate. No? So, letter B. Meron tayong impairment testing, ha? May impairment assessment tayo, kaya mali po yan. At mali din po yung unrealized fair value gains ay OCI. Under amortized cost, ini-ignore lang natin yung changes in fair value. Okay? At wala tayong fair value remeasurement. Kaya mali-mali po yung other choices. Okay? Number 15. Ito, equity investment, no? Pag designated yan at FVOCI, alin daw dito yung totoo? Yung fair value changes, go to OCI, no recycling allowed. So, actually, yung contention mo lang dyan, yung paglalabanan mo ay A and C. Okay? Ito kasi recycling is allowed. So, pang ano yan? FVOCI debt. Ito, FVOCI equity. Dividends will always be recognized, no? Impairment losses must be recognized in P&L. Anong sabi natin, no? Dahil naka fair value yan, no? For OCI, balikan natin na doon sa ating cheat sheet. Okay? FVOCI, wala po tayong impairment assessment. Okay? So yan po, no? Kasi naka fair value na sila. Nagkataon lang na yung fair value ng isa, OCI ang dala, yung isa naman ay FVPL. Kung nalilito kayo, sir, bakit yung FVOCI debt ay merong impairment assessment? The reason is because FVOCI is a combination of amortized cost and FVPL. Yung amortized cost, may impairment assessment tayo. That characteristic is being carried by FVOCI debt. Kaya nag-impairment assessment tayo doon. Alright, so yun po Going back, balik po tayo. Anong problem na nga, anong question na nga tayo? Ito Ayan, number 16. Number 16, reclassification. Inaalaw ba? The general rule is yes, permitted. Pero kailan natin pinapayagan? If there is a change in business model, not because there is a change in management intention, or dahil may changes sa market interest, or nag-fail ng SPPI test. So letter C, pinakamahaba sa mga choices. Okay? Number 17. Kapag nagkaroon ka ng change sa business model and it necessitates a reclassification of debt security, papaano yung application? Sabi natin, prospectively. Moving forward to date onwards. Kasi retrospectively, babalikan mo yung mga nakalipas, Huwag mo nang balikan, Mag-move on ka na. So, prospective yung ating application. Okay? So, that's number 17. Okay, question number 18 is for impairment for debt instrument na FVOCI, yung measurement. Okay? The standard requires the recognition of impairment based on expected credit loss model under IFRS 9. Okay, meron tayong dalawang klase, di ba? Your 12-month ECL at saka yung lifetime ECL depending on the assessment ng meron ba tayong impaired ba yung credit niya? Meron ba tayong significant increase in credit risk? If the asset is impaired or if there is a significant increase in credit risk, lifetime ECL tayo. But if the asset is not impaired and there is no significant increase in credit risk, 12-month ECL lang ang gagamitin natin. Okay? So that's for number 18. Number 19. Impairment pa rin po ito. Debt instruments. FVPL. Okay? Complete the statement daw for 19. Subject to 3-stage ECL model? Hindi po. Bakit? Hindi tayo nag-impairment pag FVPL. Okay? Hindi rin yung letter B kasi simplified. One-stage model. So, letter C ang tamang sagot. Letter D, mali din kasi assess for impairment. Hindi nga. Okay? Kaya mali din yung letter D. Okay? Now, number 20 po tayo. A decrease ng fair value ng debt security measured at FVOCI dahil meron tayong impairment loss taken to profit or loss. Impairment loss is taken always in P&L. So, these are 20 questions, Nakailan ba kayo dito? So, pwede nyo pong i-share para naman magka-idea ako kung na-perfect nyo ba yan or kung may mali kayo, aling number. Okay? So, kayo lang kung gusto lang ninyo. Anyway, moving on po tayo. Proceed tayo. Ayan. So, may explanation pa pala pero gets naman natin na pag impairment laging yan, P&L. Dito na tayo sa problems. MCQ na problems. Okay, medyo basic naman yung mga tanungan po natin dito. Just to recall, So, amortized cost, itong una nating problem. On January 1, the company purchased a 4-year 2 million bond. Okay? For 1,920,000. The coupon rate is 4% annually, paid every December 31, and the effective interest rate is 5%. So, magkano daw yung interest income mo in 2025? So, dahil ito yung ating amortized cost, 1,920,000. Pag minultiply natin yan ng, syempre, coupon rate is your stated interest rate. So, hindi yan. Gagamitin natin is the effective interest rate of 5%. Pa-double check na. Anyway, mag-open na lang din ako ng calculator. Hindi ko na double check kung tama yung mga computation, but I am assuming na that is correct. Okay, tama naman. So, letter C, 96,000. Okay? So, ayan po, ano? Debit. Anong journal entry natin dito? Kasi credit ka ng interest income, debit ka investment. Okay? Because it will increase the carrying amount or the amortized cost of your investment. Okay? Number 2, applying the same problem. Magkano daw yung amortized cost mo on December 31? Eh di yung 1,920, dagdag natin ito kasi debit ako. Tapos, ano to? O based doon sa stated interest. So isipin mo, yung coupon rate, no? Based on the 2 million. So isipin mo na lang na gumagawa ka dito ng amortization table, okay, plus, minus. So yung difference is applied to principal, di ba? Kaya, ito, 1,936,000 ang ating tamang sagot. Okay? So madali lang, no? Next, number 3. And at the beginning of the year, may biniling 4-year bond, 950,000. Ang face value ay 1 million. So, ito yung ating amortized cost at the beginning of the year. No? 4% yung ating annual interest rate. Effective interest rate, parang parehas dito ano, sa number 1. Pero dito, FVOCI yung ating classification. Kanina, amortized cost. We will follow the same supposedly. Pero dahil meron kang changes sa fair value, we will adjust our amortized cost to fair value na dapat 960,000 ka at the end of the year. Okay? The amortized cost at year end is 955. What is the unrealized gain daw to be recognized in OCI? And that is your difference between 955 and 960. Kasi ito yung fair value mo, pero yung amortized cost mo, 955 lang, adjust tayo. So, meron tayong fair value adjustment account, debit, credit, o yung changes in fair value, no, taken to other comprehensive income, 5,000. So, your bonds is still measured at 955 plus meron kang adjunct account na fair value adjustment na may balance sa ngayon na 5,000 pesos. No? Okay, so unrealized gain. Kasi hindi mo pa naman binibenta. Hindi mo pa naman dinidispose yung asset. Okay, so yan po, number 3. Continuation po pala ito ng number 3. Now, assuming yung ECL mo, so lagyan natin ito using the same data above. Ayan, dagdagan natin ito. No, using the same data above. Okay? Assuming the ACL at year end is 6,000. What is the net carrying amount to be presented in the statement of financial position? Eh di ibawas natin because FVOCI ito, allowed ang impairment testing. So, kung na-impair ka at yung allowance for doubtful, ito yun sa receivable, yung provision for ECL mo is your allowance for doubtful accounts. Kaya lang, ito kasi ay investment in bonds. So, provision for ECL kontra account, kontra asset. So, 960. So, parang sinasabi natin, 955 yung amortized cost, 5,000 fair value adjustment, less your provision na 6,000. Kaya, ang net carrying amount na ipipresenta natin ay 954,000. Okay, so that's question number 4. Next, So let me know pala ha kung sakaling meron kayong mga tanong, pwede kayong mag-chat sa ating chat box. Okay, number 5. Meron tayong 2-year bond, binili for 970. Ang face value niya 1 million. Ang coupon rate, coupon rate no, ang ginagamit natin dito at saan pa ito usually gamit na gamit? Sa financial management, di ba? Sa FEMA, sa MS. Stated interest rate, no? Nominal interest rate. The bond is acquired with an intent to trade the asset. Uy, FVPL. Okay, what amount will be taken to profit or loss? Ang tinatanong, to be taken to P&L, dahil trading yan, ano yun? So, titignan natin dito. Tignan po ninyo ito. No? Ano tong 1 million times 6%? Ito yung ating interest income. So, 1 million times 6%, may interest income tayo, di ba? So, FVPL yan, meron kang interest income, pero, syempre, no? Hindi lamang, so syempre, taken yun sa profit or loss. Pero dahil meron tayong changes in fair value, that is also integrated in your statement of comprehensive income under the profit or loss section. So bukod dun sa 60,000, dagdagan pa natin ng 10,000, 10,000 kasi from 970, ngayon ay 980, meron kang increase ng fair value, 10,000. So the correct answer, number 5, is letter D. Okay? So yan po yung ating question number 5. Next po tayo, question number 6. FVPL din po ito, no? Ito yung mga usually na mabibigyan tayo ng multiple securities. Like halimbawa dito, meron kang 3 securities. Sabihin na natin na equity securities ito. Although trading securities ang nakalagay, no? Bumili ka ng portfolio pero walang disposal for the year. Lahat ng fair value changes are temporary. Pag mga ganyan ang galawan, mention FVPL. Although, meron ka na rin ditong context clue, trading security. So, anong tinatanong? For number 6, carrying amount daw ng trading securities. Di syempre, etong 3. Pag sama-samahin mo yan. 620, 940, 1.2. Number 6 is, the answer is letter D, 2,760. Okay? So, etong 3, no, yung mga year-end fair value. Kasi, FVPL yung measurement natin. Okay? Now, kung sakaling nadagdagan ka dito, meron kang transaction cost, ignore natin yung transaction cost kasi yan po ay ine-expense outright. Okay? Dahil FVPL. Pero kung yan po ay capitalized, FVOCI, dapat naka-capitalize na yun. Naka-integrate siya. Pero at year-end, syempre, titignan natin fair value. Okay? Next. Using the same data above, compute daw natin yung unrealized gain or loss. So, ano yun? That's the difference between the cost since this is the first year of acquiring that trading securities. So, 650 plus 900, 1,550, 29. 29 ba to? 29 itong 3. Yun yung cost mo. Bumaba ka, di ba? Naging 2,760, di meron kang loss. Loss, 140,000. Okay? So, yan po, no, yung sagot natin sa question number 7. Moving on. Dito naman tayo sa number 8. Initial recognition, pero dito FVPL. Okay. Ang tinatanong ay, magkano natin initially i-recognize itong investment? So, bumili ka, 3,500. No? 12%. Yung ating coupon rate at fair value. The prevailing market interest rate was 10% and interest is payable annually. Walang na-mention about the fair value. Pero, meron kang effective interest rate. prevailing interest rate. Pag ganyan, no, ang pinapagawa lang niyan sa inyo, ang pinapahiwatig kapag may mga ma-encounter kayo na ganyang mga problems, ang pahiwatig niyan ay mag-compute kayo ng present value at kung magkano yung present value, yun ang ating fair value. Okay? So, ay bakit naka-number ito? Palitan lang natin ha. Na-OC ako. So yan, letters, no? So the answer is letter D dapat dito. Okay? Paano ito na-compute? The present value ng principal na 3.5 for 5 years using 10% prevailing rate. Tapos, 3.5 times 12%, that is your interest, present value din, no? Ordinary annuity. So if you do the math, pa-double check na lamang din ng ating computation, 3.5 million times 12%, tapos ito yung present value factor. Pag ordinary annuity, N is 5, I is 10. Okay, that should be the amounts. Unless mali ako ng computation. Okay, pero pa-verify na lang, no? So that should get an answer of letter D, 3765286. Okay? So dito walang na-mention about if rounding off. So pag mga ganyan, syempre, kung ano yung pinakamalapit. Kasi due to rounding, hindi naman maglalayo masyado yung magiging sagot mo dyan. Okay? So yan class, no? Yung number 8. Number 9, using the same problem. Magkano daw yung investment na i-recognize mo on December 31 if at this time the prevailing rate of interest is 9%. So, ganun ulit ang gagawin mo, magko-compute ka. Sandali. Okay. Eto, sandali ha. 5 years. Okay. Aha, sandali, sandali. Kuha lang ako ng calcu ha, ng matinong calcu. Kasi parang may typo tayo dito. Double check ko lang. Kasi, ang sa solution, N is 4. So, purchase ka ng 5-year. Initially recognized. So, dapat 5 years yun. Okay? So, tignan natin, Initially recognized Nakalagay kasi dito, N is 4. O, sige. Para hindi na natin baguhin itong solution, ito na lang ang gawin natin. 4-year. Yun yung mas madaling paraan. Okay, para tama pa rin tayo dito sa N is 4. Okay? So, malamang iba yung nasagot po ninyo dito, So, i-edit natin ito para ito na lang yung mag-a-adjust sa solusyon. 1, double check lang natin kung 10%, divide, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Aha. Ulitin natin ha, double check po natin ito. So, 3.5 million. Okay. 1.10 divide. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. So, eto, tama naman pala. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So, tama ito, 0.6209. Okay? Minus 1 divided by 0.10. 3.7908. Tama. Eto lang, no? Eto lang pala, yung N is 5 dapat ito. Okay? So, buti na lang, no? May nakatabi tayo ditong calcu. Alright, so tama naman, no? As is pala tayo doon. Ignore. 5 years pa rin po ito. Tawag nito, apology. So, may typo lang ako doon sa solution. N is 4 ang nailagay ko. Dapat N is 5. Okay. So, okay na tayo ha. Sa number 8, klaro na po tayo doon. So, yan pa rin dapat, no? Yung kakalabasan. So, 3765,286. Subsequent measurement, same problem. At what amount daw shall the investment be recognized on December 31? No, ito na naman. N is 4. Double check natin ito. If the year-end prevailing rate is 9%. Okay. So dapat no, one year lang kasi January 23. So 1 year pa lang yung nag-expire, dapat N is 4 tayo dito. Okay? Now, double check ko lang itong mga present value factor. Pero ngayon, dahil na bago at ano na 9%, 1.09 divide equals 1, 2, 3, ayun lang. No, 4. Okay? So ang gawin natin dito, para tama tayo dito sa solution, 0.772. 1.09 divide 1, 2, 3 minus 1 divided by 0.09, 2.5313. Okay. Ang gawin ko po dito, class, no? Ito, palitan ko na lang ito. Yan. So, dalawa yung typo natin, ano? Sa number 8, sa solution lang naman. Sa inyong choices, walang babaguhin. No, pero dito sa number 9, yung subsequent measurement, babaguhin po natin ha. Pasensya na po. Eto, instead na December 31, 2023, gawin na lang po natin itong December 31, 2024. Otherwise, kung isusundin natin December 31, 2023, kung yun ang ginawa natin, para lang sa mga nakapag-solve, no, sir, wala. No? So, 1.09 divide 1, 2, 3, 4 dapat. So, 0.7084, hindi ko na i-round off. Multiply ko na directly sa 3.5. M plus. 1.09 divide 1, 2, 3, 4. Minus 1 divided by 0.09 times, excuse me, 3.5 times 12%. Magkano ba yung 3.5 times 12%? Times 420,000. Okay, M minus, M recall. It should have been 3,840, 170. So, maglagay ako ng ano dito. Ito na lang, no? Modify ko lang din ito para in the future pwede nating magamit. 3,840, 170. Gamitin ko na lang ito. 3,840, 170. Okay? So, ayan. Ito supposedly, yung makukuha ninyong sagot or close dito, depende sa rounding na ginamit ninyo. Okay? So, wala sa choices. Bonus kung sakaling may typo, ano, pagdating sa mga evals. Okay, pero dito sa problem, pinalitan natin instead na 2023, ginawa na lang nating 2024 para N is 3 pa rin. Okay? So, yun po ano, yung ating minor ano, correction sa number 9. Okay na? So, kung okay na tayo dyan, proceed po tayo sa number 10. Ito, journal entry. Para lang hindi tayo mawala sa ating mga JE. On September 1, year 2, nag-acquire ng 1 million, 12% bond at 104. Okay, the company did not elect at fair value. All right. What entry should be made to record the purchase of bonds? So, 1 million, ang face value, 12% at 104. Ang bonds dated May 1. Tapos interest payable every October 31 and April 30. Excuse me. So, meron tayong April 30, ano? May, June, July, August. Kasi September 1, in-acquire. So, may 4 months tayo na accrued interest. Kaya dito sa solution, makikita nyo po, 1 million times 12% times 4 over 12, that should have been an interest receivable. So, kung hindi ka pa nag-entry, wala ka pang adjusting entry dyan, so tama lang na magde-debit ka ng interest receivable. Pero kung prior to this, meron kang ano na, tawag nito, debit interest receivable, credit interest income, dapat ide-debit mo interest income. Okay? Now, ano tong debit debt investment? Bakit 1,040,000? It's because in-acquire mo siya at 104%. So 1 million times 104%. 1.04. Kaya 1,040,000. So ang cash out natin ay 1,080,000. Okay? So yan class, no? Yung ating sagot for question number 10. Huwag po nating kakalimutan yung ating mga journal entries because that serves as our foundation. Opo. So, yan ano. Moving on. Proceed tayo sa number 11. Ang tinatanong naman dito ay total cash paid by the company in buying the bonds. Bumili ka ng 600 units at 12% na coupon rate. 2,000 ang value ng kada isang bond. So 2,000 times 600 pieces, di ba? 1.2. 102, di at 1.02. So yun pa lang, meron ka ng 1,224,000. Yun yung halaga, no, ng binili mo. Kaso, meron ka pang accrued interest. Why? Originally, dated May 1, yung interest mo paid semi-annually. Every May and November. So ngayon, from May 1, so May, June, July, meron kang 3 months accrued. So, 1.2 million ang ating face value, 600 times 2,000, that's 1.2. Ang coupon rate mo, 12%. So, that should have been your annual interest. Kaso accrual, 3 months. So, times 3 over 12. So, 36,000 yun. Total cash paid. Okay? So, 1,224,000. Dagdag natin yung 36,000. The answer is letter C. 1,260,000 pesos. Okay po. So, yan ano, class. Ang number 11 natin. Next, number 12 naman tayo. Ano ang tinatanong sa number 12? Gain or loss on the sale of investment. On January 1, so pag meron tayong gain or loss, we compare the carrying amount doon sa proceeds, di ba? That is your gain or loss. Noong January 1, bumili ka ng bonds, face value ng 4 million, sa halagang 4,096,000. Ito ano, I want to emphasize this because usually, amortization natin ay effective interest rate. Pero minsan, may mga naliligaw. Although, hindi naman dapat, pero in theory, pwede naman. Okay, pero in practice, that should be applied, no? Using the effective interest rate. Ano bang sinasabi mo, sir? Ang sinasabi ko is, yung premium mo na 96,000, inamortize using straight line. So, dahil straight line yan, yung 96 divided by ilang taon? Kung 5 years yan, edi amortize mo yan over 60 months. So parang sinasabi natin, yung 96,000 divided by 60 months kasi 5 years. So, ang kailangan kasi natin gawin dito is on the date of sale, which is March 31, 2023, magkano yung unamortized portion? Kaya dito makikita ninyo sa solusyon, 96,000 times 45 over 60. Kasi from January 1, 2022 hanggang March 31, 2023, 15 months already lapsed. Isang taon, syempre 12 months. January, February, March, 3 months. So 12 plus 3, 15 months. So 96,000 no, times 45 divided by 60. Tama. 72,000. Ito yung unamortized premium on bonds. So magiging 4,072,000 siya. Okay? 4,072,000. Kung 4,072,000 yan, okay? O, etong accrued interest, asa na yan? 4,180,000 excluding accrued interest eh. So dahil excluding, so ignore natin. Kasi supposedly, accounted separate yung accrued interest eh. Ang problema, kung inclusive of accrued interest, ibabawas natin dito yung 120,000. So pinapakita ko lang dito na yung accrued interest ay 120,000. Pero ignore lang yan. No, kasi excluding yung term. So therefore, we'll just compare the 4,072,000, which is 4 million, at saka yung unamortized premium. Compare natin sa 4,180. Okay, so that is your 102. So if you do the journal entry, ganito kasi yan. No, pinaghiwalay ko na lang para hindi nakakalito. Ito yung accrued interest, no? Tapos ito yung ating principal. Okay? So, dito, ang assumption natin, wala ka pang accrual na ginagawa. Kaya in credit ang interest income. Pero kung meron ka ng accrual na ginawa, yung credit mo na dyan ay interest receivable. Kasi, minessure mo na, no? Ni-record mo na yung interest income. Baka madoble. So, yan yung mga usually na cases natin pagdating sa mga auditing. No? Nagawa mo na pero nag-double record ka ng income. Okay? So, that's for question number 12. Okay. Using the same data, ano daw yung proceeds? Magkano? Eh di itong dalawa, 4,180 at saka 120. The answer is 4.3. Okay? So, yan po, no? You can refer to this solution. That's number 13. And, number 14 tayo. Okay. 14 and 15. So, number 14, interest computation. Semi-annual yung interest. Pag semi-annual yung interest, no, sa mga amortization natin, dapat kalakalahati. So, kung 14% yung yield, edi dapat 7% kalahati. Kung yung coupon ay 12, edi 6% kalahati. So, kung 2 million times 6%, 120 kada 6 months. Tapos, kung 1,840 yung face value mo, amortized cost at the beginning, edi times 7%, ito yun. Double check lang ha. Kung 1,840 times 0.07, 128,800. So, etong 8,800 applied to principal. So, idadagdag natin. So, on June 30, 2023, eto ka. You do it one more time. So, to answer question number 14, interest revenue to be reported, etong dalawa magkasama. Okay? Ang magiging mali natin dyan is when 1,840, nag-multiply ka na diretso ng 14%, ang magiging sagot mo dyan ay letter C. Pero dahil semi-annual yan, dapat letter D. Okay? For number 15, carrying amount daw on December 31, o eto, naka-bold, eto siya, 1,858,216. Alright? So, yan po ano for question number 15. Now, pakita ko lang, teka, sandali lang class, wait lang po. Okay, so part 3 na po tayo, remaining 5 items. So, supply the answer ng mga problems. For number 1, ito po ang tamang sagot natin dito. Paki-double check sa mga computation ninyo. That should be 3,801,008. Ito po ang sagot natin for number 1. Double check lang natin kasi ito ay reclassification. Noong January 1, may binili ka na 4 million. Stated rate 8%. Amortized cost ang classification. So, kung yan po ay mag-expire ng December 31, 2027, so 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 5 years yung term. Tapos, on December 31, 2024, it changed its business model so that from amortized cost, naging FVPL siya. Is that allowed? Yes, it is permitted if there is a change in business model. So, assuming that is allowed, no? The question in number 1 is, carrying amount ng bond before reclassification. So, ang gagawin natin, di kunin natin yung pwedeng amortize ka ng 2 taon, 2023 and then 2024, o kaya an alternative way is to get the present value ng principal and interest, applying the 10% pero N is 3 kasi 3 terms left. So, double check ko lang kung tama yung mga nasa computation natin dito. 1.10 divide equals 0.7513 minus 1 divided by 0.1, 2.4869. Okay? So, tama naman. So, 0.7513 times 4 million and plus 2.4869 times ano to? 320,000 ba yan? Okay, equals 3801008. So, tama naman yung sagot natin for question number 1. Okay? Huwag mo nang gawin yung mag-amortize ka ng 2 taon. Kunin mo na lang, mag-present value computation ka na lang. Unexpired term, 3 years. Alright? So, yan po class for number 1. Now, question number 2, using this info, what is the amount to be taken to profit or loss on the date of reclassification? Okay? Ang dito, yung tinutukoy po na iti-take up sa profit or loss is the difference between this carrying amount, yung amortized cost, and the fair value quoted at 102. Kasi i-reclassify natin, So, 4 million times 1.02 or 102%, that is 4,080,000. So, this will now become the balance of your investment on the date of reclassification. So, anong gagawin natin? I-adjust ko, changes, Ito, due to reclassification to be taken to profit or loss. So, this is the amount to be taken to P&L on the date of reclassification. Tapos, moving forward, hindi na tayo mag-amortize. Okay? Yun po. Nakuha ba? So, number 1, ito yung answer. Number 2, ito yung answer. I hope you have the same answer. Okay? Number 3, 4 and 5, related naman ito. Ang mga problems na ito. Number 3, ang tinatanong, by how much should the investment be initially recognized? Teka, on January 1 dapat. Okay? On January 1, 2023. Ayan, no? So, bakit kasi naging January 31? Double check ko lang. So, January 1, kasi initial recognition eh. So, January 1, 2023. The answer is 5.9 million. Ano ba ang ating business model dito? Held to collect the contractual cash flow and to sell the asset, FVOCI investment. So, pag FVOCI investment, transaction costs are capitalized. Dahil nakalagay dito, including, so kasama na po dito sa 5.9, eto na yon. So, number 3, 5.9 million. Okay? Number 4, applying the same data, magkano daw yung interest income mo for 2023? Based on 5.9, Tapos, kung ang yield mo ay 10.68%, edi times 10.68. So, 5.9 times 0.1068. So, that is 631.20. Okay? And then, last but not the least, what amount of unrealized gain should be reported as a component of profit or loss? Plus, FBOCI po ito. So, ang tinatanong unrealized gain, changes in fair value. Wala. The answer is 0 because it should be recognized in other comprehensive income and not in profit or loss. So kadalasan, no, minsan excited tayo masyado sa pagsosolve ng mga problems, we fail to see, no, yung mga trick questions. So etong number 5, this is a trick question, ano, kasi 0. So, although ito naman wala namang ano, no, tawag natin dito, wala namang mga choices. Pero syempre, pagdating sa mga MCQ, bibigayan pareha. So, we have to be careful kung ano ba talaga ang tamang sagot. Okay? Pero dito ano, may I just remind you that this should be taken to OCI and not to profit or loss. Okay? So, yan class, yun po yung mga sagot, solution natin dito sa material na ibinigay ko sa inyo kanina. I hope you were able to get the correct answers. And for those of you na medyo nagkamali sa iba, I hope klaro po, no, yung ating mga explanation. Okay, so stop ko lamang yung sharing. Meron po bang tanong or clarification bago ko kayo dismiss? Nagpaparamdam na yung aking sikmura, no? Nagugutom na si sir. Okay, mukhang wala naman. Bago po tayo tapos, no? Open muna tayo ng camera. Let's have a picture, no? Proof of documentation.